Hello and welcome to Learn Python 3 the Hard Way, exercise 20. We're going to continue the trend of combining things by doing functions and files together. In this exercise, what we're doing is we're taking functions and a file, and we're using the file functions, that's fread or seek, and doing that inside the functions. So I'm continuing the trend of combining things by just constantly hammering home that if you can do one thing, you can probably do that thing with another thing. So if we can do functions and we can do files, we can combine functions and files. So how this works is, remember, we have argv, so we're going to need an input file of some kind. And then we have define. So we're defining a function to print everything, defining a function to rewind, and defining a function to print a line. So once we have that, we can use those three functions to work with the file instead of using the direct function of seek, as I have on line 9 there, or read all, as I have on line 6. So here we go. We have current file that we want to save. We're going to pass that file. See, current file? We're going to pass it to each of these, and it's going to be f inside each of these functions. Okay. Now this is where it becomes important that what I'm teaching you is we're not copying the file. We're passing it by reference. So what that means is when f gets current file, any changes f makes are going to impact the actual file. So if, let's say, print all prints it, we have to rewind because the actual file is being passed to print all and rewind. All that's happening is within print all, we're getting a different name for it, but it still references back to the original current file. Now you'll get more info on that later on, but for now, just study that. Try to do some of the debug printing we're talking about to see that happening. Now once we have this, we call print all. And remember, when you call a function, we pass f to it. Flipping back, we see it passing current file. So f up here is current file, and we print out read. And that's it. Then we rewind. So what does rewind do? Calls seek 0. So seek 0 is a way to rewind. It's just remember what I said. This comes from mainframe tape days. So you seek to different spots instead of rewind. Who knows why? Okay, and then we're going to print a current line. Now this is a little odd, but it's the only way we can really count lines with what you know currently. So there's not much else we can do. So we start off by saying current line is 1. So we're going to do a print a line. And we know current file and we have current line. So then we pop up here. And current print a line takes line count, like what line are we on, and the file to read from, and it calls read line, which will read only one line. Then we increment current line by 1 by saying current line equals current line plus 1. Then we do this all again. Now the line count is going to be up by 1, and then it's going to get incremented again, and that'll be up by 1 more. So the current line will become 3, and current line will become, it will be 1, then 2, then 3. Okay, so when we run that, we can see that happen. So let's do ex20. I think I still have this file floating around. So that's the whole file. It has 3 lines. And what we do is rewind it, kind of like a tape, and print these 3 lines, 1, 2, and 3. There you go. It's pretty straightforward. And notice the 1 and the 2 and the 3 over there. All right, so if that's the case, then what we want to do is practice your debug printing again. So I want you, for this exercise, break it, obviously, but I want you to also do the debug printing. So as you do this, you can say f equals here, and you print out f. And then you can say print f equals f. Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want to also say print all like that. So you can keep track of when you're entering and exit a function. Do that for all these functions, and then see how things are changing. I'll give you a very good example of why this is important. So you're down here changing these current lines, and people will always ask, well, how is the line changing? How is the line changing? They overthink it. It's very simple. You're just incrementing it. It's easiest to see that happening if you can print out a beginning and end debug statement, and then also print it out here at line, say, 28, right after 28, after 31, and after 34. And then you can watch it change. You can't really learn what's going on by staring at it. I can because I wrote it and I studied programming for a long time. But for you, print it out. Find out what that variable has in it instead of trying to guess or stare at it. Okay, that's exercise 20. See you at 21.